I hope you all are as excited as I am to see what they have prepared for us. After the demonstration is complete, we will eat Thanksgiving dinner. We will also have a photo booth tonight, as you can see. There are many videos playing around the room, what many consider to be Thanksgiving staples. Okay, just to let everyone, we're going live on YouTube, so I'm going to do a secondary introduction. Welcome, everyone, to a very special cooking demonstration. I'm your host, DJ Adonis, and we are live on YouTube. Our two chefs showcasing how to make their favorite Thanksgiving dishes will be University President Dr. Alisa White and her husband, Elliott Herzlich. Without further ado, let's clap it up and welcome them to the stage.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. And while we're welcoming them to the stage, I'm going to ask Dr. White, I'm going to put her on the spot. Do you mind sharing with us a little bit about what gratitude means to you, or maybe you have like an interesting story that you want to share with the audience?
I do, but I'm going to go over here to tell it.
Go ahead.
So I am grateful, and we are going to be distanced, so we're going to do this.
Oh,
So I know that you think Elliott is a figment of my imagination, but he's right here. This is why I'm grateful.
this is why I'm grateful.
So,
So, what are we cooking?
what are you cooking?
I'm going to cook popovers, and I know you love them.
I do.
What are you cooking?
I'm cooking sweet potatoes, but here's the deal. So you asked me what I'm grateful for, right? I just want you to know that you have a really grateful president, because not only did I marry a jeweler, I married a man who got his start in a career as an executive chef. And he was an executive chef in Austin, an executive chef in Dallas. He went to cooking school in Switzerland. So when people ask me if I cook, I say, why should I? But there are 2 times a year that I cook. What are they?
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Now, why?
Because you're making all the family traditional recipes, and you don't like mine.
That's it. Elliott is from New York. He's a great cook, but he's a Yankee. He doesn't know what dressing is. I mean, he does
Stuffing.
now. It's
It's
not
stu-
stuffing. It
It's-
is.
If it's in a
It's
pan, you
Tridico.
stuff it in a pan.
No. So tonight, it's not really Iron Chef, because I know I would lose unless I stacked the votes, which I'm not above doing because I'm very competitive. But tonight, I'm going to make sweet potato casserole. And you know your favorite?
Marshmallows.
And this is not it. This is my favorite.
No marshmallows.
No. I'm making sweet potato casserole. What are you making?
I'm making popovers.
Okay, so I'm going to get started. You go back over there and don't peek, and then Adonis is going to take the show on.
All
the
right. All right.
All right,
Who wants popovers?
Oh, wait. No. Who wants sweet potatoes?
How many of you have ever made popovers? What?
How many of you ever made sweet potatoes? They don't need me. I'm done.
No.
All right, let's cook.
All right, let's get this thing started.
right.
As they have said, she is making sweet potato casserole over here, and Mr. Elliott is going to be making popovers. I'll be walking back and forth, asking them various questions, picking their head on their dishes and whatnot throughout the night. So, as it goes, we're going to go ladies first over here with our wonderful president, and I have been warned to stay 6 feet back, so if it looks a little bit awkward, we are practicing social distancing. All right, so let's see. Can you tell us about what kind of ingredients you have here first, if you don't mind?
I can, and I'm going to show you this most important one, which is, yes, canned yams, just like I make it at home. And they are delicious, but I do not
Yum.
roast them.
I love your sweet potatoes.
They're good, but I really just start with 2 cans of candied yams. And the point of this one is you're going to sweeten them up a little bit, and you're going to soften them with some butter. And then you've got some salt, and I beat them together. Now, I usually use just a potato masher at home, but you can also, I've got a whisk here tonight, but I would either use the masher or I would use an electric mixer. But what I add that's a little bit different, besides your vanilla and your eggs, I add just a little splash of orange juice because I don't want it to be too sweet. So I add, it's really sweet. It's very sweet, but it gives a little tanginess. So this is my secret ingredient, is the orange juice. So I'll save the topping for later, and I'll go ahead and start mixing these other ingredients.
Okay, now you got this special ingredient, orange juice. I've never heard of you using that, but that is interesting. Can you tell us how you managed to come up with this recipe? Is it passed down through your family? Did you YouTube it? Did you find a chef on a show? Or how did you get this recipe?
So my mama always made them with marshmallows and pecans like Elliott likes it. But I do read a lot of recipes, and when I had magazines before digital media, I would rip them out and rip the recipes out and put them in a stack and put them in front of Elliott where he would know I would like for him to make that for me, which he did. But I read a lot of recipes, and so I kind of I mix-matched things together. So I'd find something from this, something from that, until I found something that I like.
Until you perfected the recipe.
It's really pretty good. My dressing's really good too. I make a southern dressing, but there wasn't time to do that.
Maybe you'll make us some dressing next year?
Maybe we could start on Tuesday. It is Tuesday. We can start on Sunday and have it ready by Tuesday.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me see. What is your favorite dish? You mentioned that Elliott used to be a cook. What is your favorite dish that he makes for you all?
So there is a tradition. I really shouldn't say this. It's just these are the eggs. There's a tradition in my house where we typically are at home on New Year's Eve. And we don't eat till late. And Elliott often makes lobster, which is my favorite food. So Elliott will steam these lobsters, and if he makes hot dogs, it takes him 3 hours. If he makes steak, it takes him 3 hours. If he makes the most complicated thing, it takes him 3 hours.
He's perfecting it though, right?
Yes.
He's perfecting it.
Yes, but it takes him a while. So when he's doing this, I'm starving. And so there was one year that he had all these lobsters, and I said, I'm really hungry. And he said, just eat one. So I ate a lobster over the kitchen sink.
In your bathrobe.
You weren't supposed to tell that part. It was the best meal ever because it was with the person that I was most grateful for, the person I wanted to watch the new year come in with, and it was at home, and it was fabulous. Lobster this year, baby?
Yes.
All right.
It all started out when we went to a restaurant, and we were crammed together and waited hours and ran late. I said, I'm going to do this at home. And so that started the lobster tradition.
Okay, now, before I make my way over to Elliott's side, I have to ask, so I'm going to ask him the same question.
Okay.
Who is the better cook out of you two? And I know he used to be a chef, but you might have something going on in the kitchen that's good, so let us know.
No question.
Him?
Him.
He got it?
She eats everything I do.
Okay.
I eat everything he does. That's exactly right. I eat really well.
I'm going to make my way over here to Elliott
All
and
right.
check him out
Make
and
him
see.
be nice.
We'll be back to check on you, okay?
All right.
How you doing tonight, Mr. Elliott?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good myself. Now, popovers.
We're gonna be doing popovers.
I've never heard of popovers. Can you give us a brief explanation?
Yeah, popovers are with very few ingredients, 30 minutes of your time in the oven. You've got a beautiful, puffy, light bread that you can go ahead and put butter and jam. And these are easy to make, so while she's cooking Thanksgiving dinner, I'll make these for breakfast. And you can eat them and enjoy them. They're also good savory. One of the new things that I've done is started adding little 1-inch chunks of Gruyere cheese to them and bake them in the oven so they're good with salads.
Kind of like an appetizer snack type of deal.
Yeah, well, it's also great with scrambled eggs and with jelly. And so one thing about popovers is that popovers have no yeast in it, and it has no baking soda in it. So everything that popovers are made is with steam, from the eggs, from the milk, and the butter. That's what lubricates it all, and it just poofs up. So the thing is that this is a traditional popover pan. And this pan is deep cups. But a lot of people say, well, where do I get that? Well, you can order it from Amazon online, or you don't have to.
You brought that from home, correct?
Huh?
Did you bring that from home, correct? Did you bring that from home?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, making sure.
I've got 2 of these because I make a dozen at a time. But you don't have to. You can use a cupcake pan, or you can use a ramekin. And the thing is the ingredients are mixed together. We're using this pan. This is what's made, a cupcake pan. This is a commercial grade. So what you do is you brush the pan with the butter, okay? And then you combine the ingredients. But the key to doing the ingredients is they have to be mixed well. The batter for popovers is a very thin batter because you want the steam. And you want all the ingredients to be room temperature. And the reason being is if they're all room temperature, when you put them into an oven, they puff up beautifully.
There's little to no room for error with this. Like, you have to perfect
You can't
it.
make a mistake with these. You cannot make a mistake.
Take notes,
with
everyone. Take notes.
Okay.
I could make a
The thing is that you want to make sure that the eggs are room temperature, the milk is room temperature. And the other thing you want to do is make sure your oven is properly heated. I think in the recipe we said 425 degrees. But so you want it to be heated. And you also want to heat the pan when you first put it into the oven. And let it sit in there for 2 minutes, 2 minutes exactly. You mix the ingredients together. You fill the cups halfway with very thin batter. And then you put them in the oven for 30 minutes. And you take them out. Now, if you have a finicky oven, the best thing to do would be to take the pan and put it on the lower shelf of the oven, and then put a sheet pan at the very top rack. Otherwise, they bake unevenly and they'll burn a little bit. So, I'm going to assemble the ingredients, but basically, this is the easiest thing in the world, and I challenge you each to try them, and then message me pictures or text me pictures. I want to see what your popovers look like.
No, I just want to say thank you, because you went very into detail on that, so I think the audience appreciates it as well. Can I ask you, where did you learn how to make this, or how many years have you been doing this also?
Let's see. I started in the food business when I was 13. I left the food business when I was 20-something or other, you know. And I still cook at home, and I cook for friends. And so a lot of the recipes are things that I'd done early on in my lifetime and just modify them as I went.
Perfection.
Yeah, and I do it. We have a lot of failures because I love playing in the kitchen on Sundays afternoons or Saturdays when I'm off. I'll start cooking, and Alisa will say, "Oh, Dr. Honey, I'm sorry." She'll ask me, "What are you doing?" And I don't know. I mean, I make my own pasta sauce now because you buy fresh tomatoes. That's easily done. That's another recipe.
Let me ask you this, because I asked her the same question, so I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite dish that she makes? Outside of what she's making, oh, there she is. Outside of what she's making right now, what is your favorite dish that she makes?
She makes chicken and rice. She makes...
Let's see, if you had one go-to meal of hers, what are you going for? Your go-to.
Let's see.
Thanksgiving
dinner.
He goes to Whataburger. Okay, I'm interrupting.
Yes.
Because I want them to also know he doesn't just make his own pasta sauce. He makes bagels and English muffins and homemade pasta. He can make anything.
We were snowed in the first of last year when we were in Tennessee, and it was a cold day, and we were watching a cooking show, which we do quite a bit, and she said, "I'd like to learn how to make pasta," and I said, "Come on, let's go downstairs," and we made pasta, and that weekend she made pasta 3 times.
She couldn't get enough of it. I like that. Between the both of y'all, I'm pretty sure nobody will ever starve, and I love it.
That's right. And I recommend to young people, old people, you need to cook. You need to be able to cook for yourself. Find something you like a food that you like. There's plenty of people, the chef is here, he would answer your questions, I'm sure. And the thing is, if you want to learn how to do spaghetti, ask him how to do spaghetti. Ask me how to do spaghetti. You want to know how to make stuffed peppers? There's plenty of resources, but learn how to cook what you like to eat and have fun with it.
I appreciate that. I'm going to go back over here and check with her. Just, if you guys didn't catch that, he gave you guys an open line to learn how to make spaghetti from him and learn how to make popovers, all right? All right.
Could I introduce someone?
Yes, please.
So the person who's in all the work tonight is right here, Chef Ariel. So Elliott and I are just kind of playing up here, and we're going to show you the finished piece in just a minute. We're not quite ready for it, but I wanted them to see you because the Aramark team and Chef Ariel put this whole dinner together. And so I want to say thank you for doing the real work. And so I'm going to do the topping, and it's the best part. And so I started with just a little bit of flour in here, and then I'm going to add brown sugar. Now, occasionally I do keto. I should do it all the time. I'm not. But I will say, if you are using, I wouldn't bother with sweet potatoes or something like that, but if you are needing a sugar substitute, you can get Swerve or something like that, and it has a really good brown sugar flavor. And you can use it 1-to-1 like you would regular brown sugar or regular cane sugar. So all I did was just add flour and sugar, brown sugar, and then I'm adding some cubed butter. Now the point is, if you were at home, you would take 2 forks, or you would take a pastry and pastry cutter and cut the butter in to the sugar. Now, if people were not watching me and this were not going on to, the whole world at Thanksgiving, I would get in there with my fingers. But it's a COVID environment. I don't have gloves. I'm not going to do that for you. I don't think Chef Ariel did that. But you could. The idea is to mix the butter and the sugar and the flour so that it makes a crumble. And then at that point, you add either pecans, and I wouldn't chop them too finely, but you would either have pecans or walnuts or a mixture, and you just stir it in together. And then I've got my mix that we already mixed a few minutes ago of my pretty sweet potatoes or yams. And then you just sprinkle your topping all over the top and do the whole pan. Now, the instructions that you have at your table say 25 to 35 minutes. That's if everything is at room temperature, your oven's hot. It's fine like that. But if you really want it hot and you've got anything cold in your house or your potatoes are not already warm, it may take up to 40 minutes. And so you want to do that until the top is really bubbly. And now I lost Chef Ariel, but when he comes back up, he will show you a finished product. And they really, really are very, very good. And the whole thing is make a bunch because football comes after lunch and you'll need leftovers that night. So I'm finished, Elliott.
Should we go back and check on Elliott?
I think he needs somebody to check up on him.
And before I forget, both of these dishes will be available for all of you guys to try in the audience as well.
And I just want to let you know, when you make this dish, that the batter is thin. And it's a very thin and liquidy batter. And it's not like a pancake batter, and it's not like a dough batter. And the reason why you do that, for the scientist in the room, is you want to heavily hydrate the flour, and you want to have a lot of moisture in it. You also want to be sure that you use all-purpose flour instead of a bread flour, which is denser, or cake flour. You want to be able to have a well-hydrated, so all-purpose flour, the common flour that you find in the grocery store. This is something that you can make. It's a wow factor when you serve it on the table, and have fun with it. And thank you very much.
I do like it. Once again, we want to say thank you to Mr. Elliott for being very detailed with his description on the popovers. Me, myself, like I said, I've never heard of them, but they look
this is
like and
how-
they sound like they're going to be great.
And you keep on beating the lumps out of it, so. And then you fill the cups, whatever cup you're going to be doing. I like mixing them instead of in a bowl. I use a large glass Pyrex dish, and I mix a measuring cup, and that way I can just pour it into the cups. Fill them up halfway, not more, it's just under halfway, so they don't spill all over the oven.
All right, well, we have one finished product on this side, so we're going to go check it out, and we'll be right back with your finished product as well in a second. All right, let's take a look at this casserole.
So I've always wanted to do this. I'm putting it in the oven. And look, we just happen to have.
Voila.
I have always wanted to do that. So look, finished. A la Chef Ariel. Thank you very much. And I will say that Elliott's popovers, when
Great.
he uses his pan, they're about that high. And you can use strawberry butter. And actually somebody from the geography department gave me maple butter from Trader Joe's, which is fabulous, fabulous. You could put that on it. You could just use a regular herb butter. Or you could actually, they're good enough that you can just use them almost like a Yorkshire pudding without anything, or put a gravy over it. You gonna show your handiwork, baby?
Pardon me?
Are you showing your handiwork?
Our chef did this. But they will look something like that. If you go onto the internet, you'll see some that puff up higher. The thing about popovers, though, is you don't want to make them too far in advance. And you don't want to save the batter. You can save the batter. I mean, we bake them all. People say, well, what do you do with the leftover batter? And I go, what? So you bake them, because there's things that you can do with them. You can have them with scrambled eggs and with jelly like we talked about, but you can also turn them into French toast, okay? And they're very good when you add cinnamon to it. The popovers are made, and as soon as they come out of the oven, eat them just like that. How's that? Don't throw the food.
So, they asked us what we were thankful for, and I said you,
I'm thankful for you.
and I am, but I'm also thankful for you.
Yes.
And I want to say thank you to Brandon for inviting us to your event tonight. It was really fun. They did all the work. We just show up and be the Food Network stars that we are trying to be for the moment. But thank you for all the great work in student activities and student affairs and letting us be part of this community. You truly are on my list of things for which I'm thankful.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to say thank you one more time to Dr. White and Mr. Elliott for their demonstration. At this time, we'll be signing out from YouTube. We want to thank our virtual fans and virtual viewers for signing in with us tonight. Thank you guys and have a great Thanksgiving.